Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Ashtotarashata Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Mukund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Navadvitam Ki Jai Ganga Yamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinda Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Krishna Janmastami Ki Jaya. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is third canto, the status quo, chapter 2, remembrance of Lord Krishna, text 23. I think that's on the board, right? Okay. So if you could please repeat after me. Aho Bhakti Yam Stana Kala Kutam. Oh, this is a long one, huh? Jigang Saya Payayad Api Sadvi Lebe Gatim Tatri Uchitam Taton Yam Kam Va Dayalum Sharanam Vrajema. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam Chigam Sayapayad Apyasadvi Lebe Gatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kambadayalam Sharanam Vrajema. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam Chigam Saya Payayad Apyasadvi Lebe Gatim Dati Uchitam Tatonyam Kambadayalam Sharanam Vrajema. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam Chigam Saya Payad Apyasadvi Lebe Gatim Dati Chitam Tatonyam Kambadayalam Tum Sharanam Vrajema. I like to chant. Right. Aho, alas, Bhakti, the she-demon, Pūtanā, Yam, whom, Stana, of her breast, Kala, deadly, Kutam, poison, Chigamsaya, out of envy, Payat, nourished, Api, although, the Sadvi, unfaithful, Lebe, achieved, Katim, destination, Datri Uchitam, just suitable for the nurse, Tataha, beyond whom, Anyam, other, Kam, who else, Va, certainly, Dayalum, merciful, Sharanam, shelter, Pradajama, shall I take. Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Pūtanā, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Purport. Here is an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stalk of poison. In his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Pūtanā, a she-demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Yashoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a shape other than that of a human being, but it doesn't make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme. A living creature, however powerful he may become by dint of severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Pūtanā because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? Om Gyanativedandasya Kananjana Shalakaya Chakshulamadatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Makam Kaditavachalam Pangam Langate Girim Mekipatamaham Vande Shri Gurundinataranam Vancha Kapadirubhischa Kripasindabevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation once again. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Pūtanā, although she was unfaithful. So this is Uddhava's polite words. She was unfaithful. and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So today is a special holiday. Srila Prabhupada was in India. He brought his, as he called them, dancing white elephants back to India. And while they were there, the devotees were told that today is a special holiday. And they weren't really sure. They're new to India, new in general. So they weren't really sure. So they asked Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, is today a holiday? Because one Hindu gentleman was telling them today was a holiday. And Srila Prabhupada said, we are Vaishnavas. We are devotees of Krishna. So for us, every day is a holiday. So yes, every day is a holiday. But today is a special holiday, the appearance of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Srila Prabhupada first visited Boston, or one of the times he visited Boston, one person asked him a question in the audience, and the question was, there are so many gurus, there are so many paths, how are we to know which guru, which path to take? And then Srila Prabhupada said, well, that depends. What is your goal? Do you want to serve God or do you want to be God? The person was thinking that he was thinking, yes, I was thinking of being God, but so then Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He is always God. He is God on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He is God in the lap of Mother Yashoda. Krishna is always God. It's not that He became God by some type of meditation. You can't become God by some type of meditation. He's always God. And then Srila Prabhupada said, so if you want to serve God, He will help you. Just as we hear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the Bhakti Lata Bij, the flower or the plant, the creeper of devotion, eventually producing the fruit of love of God. So he said that He will help you. He will give all necessary light. He'll give water for the plant. He'll help you. But then he said, but if you want to be God, why should He help the competition? So there are many, Srila Prabhupada would sometimes use this word, upstarts, many, or he would use upstarts or rascals or fools or whatever word you want to use, who may claim to be Krishna. We have famously in the Krishna book, or the 10th canto, Pandraka is an amusing one. But so many people may claim to be Krishna. But again, as it's being pointed out, one cannot become God by meditation. So in this particular chapter, the context of this chapter is that Vidura, a great devotee of Krishna, went on pilgrimage. And while he was on pilgrimage, he met another great devotee by the name of Uddhava. And while Vidura went on pilgrimage, so many things happened. He went on pilgrimage due to the harsh words of Dhritarashtra, but he went on pilgrimage and then so many things happened in his absence. I mean, so many things happened. So while he met Uddhava, he asked Uddhava a question. He said, "How?" Like when you meet somebody, you say, "How is this person? How is this person? How is this person?" That's a common conversation It's even common in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was asking, how are these different personalities? How are the Pandavas? And eventually came, how is Krishna? And so Uddhava, he responds and he answers the questions of Vidura, and these questions being answered compose the second chapter of the third canto here. And yeah, so but before Uddhava was able to answer, it says that he was unable to answer due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of Krishna. And then it describes his childhood, gives some idea of Uddhava. Of course, there's other descriptions of him and his personality, but it says from his childhood he was a wonderful devotee of Krishna, great devotee of Krishna, absorbed in the service of Krishna from a very early age. And even being called for breakfast, he didn't want to go, being absorbed in service of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes about how, as a young boy, he also had that opportunity. His parents would give him dolls of Krishna and so on, and he'd be absorbed in that way. And it describes that throughout his life, Uddhava was a pure devotee of Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, so much so that even you don't hear about it much besides Uddhava as far as I understand, but he was thinking of Krishna so much that even he was the same color of Krishna. And everything that he wore was worn by Krishna. He's the cousin of Krishna, actually. And even in his old age, his service to Krishna did not slacken. Srila Prabhupada writes about service. He says that when one is doing service, they do not feel tired. Interesting. Someone say, I feel so tired from service. But the idea is that service actually gives one energy. And that was Uddhava's experience, that the more he served Krishna, the more energy he got. Even though his body was aging, even in his old age, he felt so much energy in the service of Krishna. It never slackened. So he was silent. He was silent. Said for a moment he remained dead silent and his body did not move, because Vidura was asking him a question. He was asking him about Krishna. And it says he became absorbed in the nectar of remembering Krishna and devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy. And he was trying to wipe away the separation, the tears of separation from his eyes, Uddhava. Thus Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. This is the 5th text of the chapter. And it says, the great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. And then he said that, my dear Vidura, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? So this is Vidura's first hearing of the disappearance of Krishna. Again, a lot happened on his pilgrimage, including the disappearance of Krishna. So Uddhava is telling him that. And then he starts to describe some of, which I'll just read a few verses here. he starts to describe Krishna to Uddhava. So this is 14. Well, let's just 1 second. 12 here, it says, "The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yogamaya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his, Sri Krishna's transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments." The word is Bhushana Bhushanangam, ornament of all ornaments. All the demigods from upper, lower, and middle universal planetary systems assembled at the altar of the Rajasura sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily features of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings. So in other words, he's the summit of all beautiful creation of Brahma. That's what they were thinking. The damsels of Raj, after pastimes of laughter, humor, exchanges of glances, were anguished when Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties. The personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate controller of both the spiritual and material creations, is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, he takes birth, just like fire, accompanied by the Mahat Tattva. So sometimes people wonder, why does Krishna come personally? Because he comes to establish religious principles, and another reason he's coming is to protect the devotees and to annihilate the demons. So those, maybe all of you here have seen that movie, recent movie, the Maha Avatar Nrsingadev movie. I don't know, maybe most of you, but it gives, yeah, you could say a very graphic visual of Nrsingadev annihilating the demons in there. So similarly, Krishna comes. So someone may wonder, why is it that Krishna comes personally? Why doesn't he just send someone or make some other arrangement? So there was a case in which Akbar and his minister Birbal were together, and Akbar was wondering this. He was wondering, why is it that he comes personally? So Birbal, of course, intelligent, wise Birbal, he had something. He always has something up his sleeve. So he said, "I will enlighten you in this matter very soon." So one particular point, some of Akbar's servants were bathing one of his children, young baby, and at one particular point, the baby, Akbar was nearby, but the baby fell in the water and began to drown. Somehow the servants were, not conscious. So Akbar, he immediately ran to save his young boy, his baby. And then Birbal, he mentioned Akbar. He said, "Oh, Akbar, you have so many ministers, you have so many servants, you have so many people who could have done this for you. Why did you do it personally?" And then Akbar could understand the answer to his question. It is out of love, it's out of affection that he saved his son. So similarly, Krishna, he comes out of love and affection for his devotees personally. He can send so many agents and so on, and he can make other arrangements, but he comes personally. He says he takes birth just like fire to protect his devotees. When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraj and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear, all these bewildering incidents give me distress. Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their, Krishna and Balaram's, inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of Kamsa. He said, "O mother, O father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me pain at heart." Who, after smelling the dust of his lotus feet even once, could ever forget it? Simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death blow to those who were burdening the earth. You have personally seen how the king of Chedi, Shishupal, achieved success in yoga practice. Although he hated Lord Krishna, even the actual yogis aspire after such success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? So like this, there's a number of, I'll read 2 more verses. Certainly others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of the Lord. Lord Sri Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme by achievement of all kinds of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation, who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. Therefore, O Vidura, does it not pain us, his servitors, when we remember that he, Lord Krishna, used to stand before King Ugrasena, who was sitting on the royal throne, and used to submit explanations before him, saying, "O my Lord, please let it be known to you." And then today's verse. How shall they take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Pūtanā, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So Vidura and Uddhava's conversation continues, and Vidura is actually, or Uddhava is making his way to Badrik Ashram, which Krishna instructed him to go to instruct the personalities there, and also to meet Narayan. So Vidura, he wants to hear more about Krishna, but Uddhava tells him to go to Maitreya Muni, who was also one of the persons who heard the last message of Krishna, the Uddhava Gita. So it was Uddhava there and Maitreya, and Krishna was instructing Uddhava, and Maitreya was there listening as well. So Vidura was told, you go to Maitreya and you hear more about Krishna. And Vidura says that when he heard this, he understood that Krishna was thinking of him at the last moment of his time in this world. And when he understood that Krishna was thinking of him at the last moment, because the idea was that he was speaking to Uddhava and Maitreya with the idea that Maitreya would instruct Vidura and what Krishna was telling him. So when he understood that, it said that he began to cry, understanding that Krishna was thinking of him at his last moments. So it's interesting because we talk about one of, if you want to say, the main success, because one success is to always think about Krishna in this life, but a major success is to think of Krishna at the last moment of one's life. Janma karma chame divam evam yovita tattvata toktra deham pranojama naitimam itisorjana. Whoever understands my, Krishna says, my pastimes and truth, my appearance and my activities, upon leaving this body they do not take birth here again, but they attain the transcendental abode. Anta Narayana Smritihi, that all of our sadhana, all of our activities in Krishna consciousness are tested at the time of death. Can we remember Krishna? So, but it's interesting because here Krishna is remembering his great devotee Vidura out of affection. He's leaving this world, he's remembering Vidura. So as Srila Prabhupada was one time asked, of course, we have to be careful banking on certain statements, but Srila Prabhupada was one time asked, what if we cannot remember Krishna at the time of death? Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the time of death. And Srila Prabhupada would say, well, if you have surrendered your life to following the regulative principles and chanting one's rounds and trying best to spread the Hare Krishna movement, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will himself force his way into your mind. Or he will appear in your mind. Krishna will appear. So the devotee is always remembering Krishna, and Krishna is always remembering the devotee. So Uddhava, he continues glorifying Krishna throughout this chapter, and then he makes his way to Badrika Ashram. And here is a very important verse that we read today, and that it glorifies one of the most, if not the most, important quality of Krishna. The most inspiring quality of Krishna. Of course, Krishna is all attractive. He's all beautiful, so on. But commenting on this particular verse and this mercy aspect of Krishna, the acharyas or previous teachers have explained that this is the most inspiring quality of Krishna's that inspires people to surrender really to him. We hear all the time, Sarvadhamam Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishami Masucha, that we should surrender to Krishna. We hear that all the time. Krishna says it. Do not fear, do not worry, do not hesitate. Surrender unto me, I shall protect you from all sinful reactions. So we hear that all the time. But understanding the mercy of Krishna, the supremely merciful disposition of Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Krishna is an ocean of mercy, this will inspire us to surrender to Krishna. And as Uddhava is saying here, he's saying, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he? So in other words, you could look around. Look here, look there, look all around. Search the universe, search the universes. Go all over the place. You cannot find someone more merciful than Krishna. Looking at the different concepts of God, which many of us have, I don't know, all of us, I can't speak for everyone, but at least I know many of us in my conversations with everyone here and hearing different devotees here, many of us have explored the different concepts of God, whether that's from the Abrahamic religions or whatever. And many of us, speaking for myself, we have been very impressed by the description of Krishna. First of all, one of the things, his ever youthful beauty, eternally youthful beauty, says he doesn't look like he's ages past 16. That's one thing. Many descriptions you hear of God, or at least some descriptions are there, that he's an old man. Like he looks like that. Ancient person, right? So that's there. You have Krishna's childhood activities. It's Janmastami, so many people worshipping Gopal, right? Baby Krishna. So we hear all of these things, so many different things, the 64 qualities of Krishna, and there's so much we hear. But we also hear of Krishna's mercy, his kindness, his affection towards his devotees. You have like his affection towards Sudama in the 10th canto, Brahman. You have his affection for the cowherd boys and the girls and his mother and his father and the cows and all of his different associates. You hear of his affection for them, which is impressive. We hear that. It's wonderful. But here, in this particular verse, this demonstrates the extreme mercy of Krishna, that even somebody who's coming to kill him, Pūtanā, she didn't come with any good intention whatsoever. Zero. She just wanted to kill him out of envy. She hated Krishna. Just like the demons do. They hate Krishna, they hate God. She wanted to kill him. But despite that, Krishna said, okay, she's like a mother. Although she wants to kill me, okay, we'll accept her like a mother. And then he says here, he granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Pūtanā, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So he liberated her. This is a wonderful, most wonderful example of the mercy of Krishna. Some concepts of God, you would not hear such things. They come to kill him. They go to hell, right? At least for some time, if not forever. So this is a wonderful pastime which demonstrates the mercy of Krishna. So similarly, tomorrow will be Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja and his appearance day. So we could also look at him like that. How can we find anyone more merciful than Srila Prabhupada, coming to America in advanced age and not good health, with no contacts or financial support or anything like that, and trying to give Krishna consciousness, and not just trying to, but successfully giving Krishna consciousness to Americans and spreading it throughout the world. So we also see Srila Prabhupada as Karuna Sindhu, ocean of mercy. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Comments? Yes.
Who are the great white elephants?
Who are the great white elephants? Well, Srila Prabhupada said that, dancing white elephants. So Srila Prabhupada said that he wanted to bring the second best man from every temple, which means not the first best man, but the second best man from every temple. Means, if you want to judge that by seriousness or sincerity, however you want to judge that. So people were picked from the different temples in America to go to India to help Srila Prabhupada establish Krishna consciousness in India. There were no ISKCON or Hare Krishna International Society for Krishna Consciousness temples. So he wanted to establish temples there. So they were picked from the different temples and they went to India and helped establish Krishna consciousness in Juhu, Mumbai or Bombay, and Vrindavan and Mayapur, Delhi, and so on throughout India. Now I think there's how many temples in Delhi? 18 something. So, yeah. Dancing white elephants means, especially a dancing white elephant's considered to be very attractive. So the idea was that bringing his Western disciples to India, the Indians would be attracted by the dancing white elephants, dancing in kirtan. And then they would take to Krishna consciousness, which was true. They saw it and they were just surprised. They went up to, a number of people would go up to Srila Prabhupada and they would say, "How did you do it?" The women, they're wearing saris and tilak, and the men with their shaved heads and their saffron clothes or whatever, and their tilak, and they're dancing, chanting Hare Krishna. How did you do it? And Srila Prabhupada would say, "Yes, I'm not paying any of them, but it's just, they want to serve Krishna. They become mad after Krishna." So the Western Vaishnavas. So that's the idea behind dancing white elephants. I mean, there's many other descriptions, but any other question? Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the lecture. One verse you read said that Krishna is a master of all kinds of threes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that?
Yes. I think Bajranarayan Swami he mentions this sometimes. Master of threes. He is the Supreme Lord of the three worlds, the three qualities of material nature, and the three Purushas. So you have the modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Somehow or other there were 2 khichris made for breakfast the other day. It's a long story, but I said, what's going on here? Is this one like the mode of passion, and then this is the mode of goodness or something? I'm not commenting on which one I was commenting on, but of course prasadam's transcendental, but 3 qualities of material nature, the 3 Purushas, Karna Dakshayi, Garbha Dakshayi, and Chir Dakshayi. And then you also have Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. So there's a lot of 3 going on. So that's gives some idea. Yeah. Any other question? Comment? Yes, Dharmaseta Prabhu.
Just an obvious quick comment that it's quite easy to be kind and merciful to people who are kind and merciful to us, but how about someone who wants to hurt you?
Yes.
Who's your enemy or kill you? That's the tough one.
Yes.
So in our own lives, how to be merciful to those who even are perceived as our enemies, that's very high standard.
Yes. It's amazing. I mean, it's as you're making the point that it's very easy to be nice and kind to people who are our own or something, or who are our own family or friends, but how to be kind and merciful to people who are not like that, it's extremely high standard. Yes. So this is what Krishna was, this is how he displayed his mercy, that he was merciful even to Pūtanā.
I heard an interesting historical fact about this, that when Mary, Queen of Scots, was being beheaded, there's a little story about his name was Bull, and he was the chief executioner. And the custom is, or was, I don't know if they're still doing this, when they're chopping people's heads off, but the executioner would always bow down and beg forgiveness from whoever they were going to execute and ask for their kindness and forgiveness. Because he was... What if they say no? Well, the thing is, they're going by order, But that's quite, they just actually bow down. It wasn't just her. That was the only celebrity he ever beheaded, and it didn't go well. That's another story. But, and she said, "I forgive you, and now because of you, all of this will be over." But to actually beg forgiveness from someone you're about ready to chop their head off. It's an amazing exchange of emotions there. And she said, I forgive you. I forgive you for, you're going to chop my head off in about 10 seconds, but I forgive you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, in terms of being merciful and kind to others, it's about our level of Krishna consciousness, or ability to see things properly. If we're not, if we see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamaya Vangsho Jivaloke, that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So we will see how we are all intimately connected to him, to Krishna. And then it will be much more easier to be merciful to others, because we're seeing them in the proper way. Therefore, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, we have to cleanse the consciousness by hearing and chanting about Krishna, which will help us see things properly, ourselves and others properly. Just like when Srila Prabhupada was in San Francisco, devotees bringing it up from time to time, but he was walking with Mukunda. Many interesting exchanges between Mukunda Goswami and Srila Prabhupada. Amusing, interesting ones. But he was walking with Mukunda and in San Francisco, and it was one of those one of those deranged type of scenes. You had smelly people and the smell of probably meat and marijuana in the air, and just really like in the 60s in San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury. And for a cultured, any type of cultured person, such a scene is considered like kind of gross, if you want to say that. So Mukunda was feeling bad that he had to walk with Srila Prabhupada through all of this. It's like really kind of icky, It's like a Brahmin's nightmare or something. Just really unclean place on all levels. In the air, sometimes you could say, like in certain places, lust is so thick in the air you could, cut it with a knife. So lust, greed, anger, just the mode of passion was all there in its full glory. So he was feeling bad. And then he was kind of trying to break the ice a little bit or whatever, just kind of. And he said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, it's a nice night, right?" And then Srila Prabhupada, he looked at him, he said, "Yes, it's a beautiful night, beautiful." So, meaning he wasn't absorbed in all the externals of what was going on. He was just saying, this is Krishna's energy, these are Krishna's people, spirit souls, eternal servants of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was seeing the potential in everyone to become Vaishnavas or Vaishnavis. So that's how he was seeing things. So, if we're able to gradually see like that, or have a spiritual vision, then it'll be very easy to be merciful to others on that basis. All right, any last question or comment? Any online?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Balarama Prabhu. You're most kind on the Vatranams. My question is related to our Vaishnava calendar, where we find not only the festival we're celebrating today, Krishna Janmastami, but many other festivals. So based on this, my question would be, why does the process of Krishna consciousness emphasizes so much these festivals, presenting them as very important, In other words, and also, what is the benefit deriving from participating in these festivals? That would be my question.
Well, I mean, yeah, for devotees of Krishna or for people worshiping Krishna, we accept Krishna as our life and soul and as our everything. So yeah, his appearance is of the utmost importance for us. I mean, if people don't have any faith in Krishna or they don't care about Krishna, then it's just another day. But if you have affection and for someone, affection for Krishna, then it's a very important day. Just like if you have affection for somebody and it's their birthday, it's a very important day. It's a time they appeared in this world and so on. So it's a happy day. It's a similarly with Srila Prabhupada. He appeared in this world. It's a wonderful day, the most wonderful day. And the benefit of celebrating such festivals is that one can easily, could say, access their grace, their mercy by praying to them. And doing that, one can better establish or reestablish their relationship with them, connect with them, remember them, and so on. So we could use these days as days to reawaken our Krishna consciousness. There's a special mercy available for people to take advantage. Right, Govardhan? Okay, Jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Hare Krishna.